What's up, everybody? Nigerian David here, and we have a very, very special guest today. I'm very excited to talk to the gentleman. He's always working so hard. His new movie, Atypical Wednesday, is available now on all digital platforms, so you definitely want to check it out so you can get in on this discussion with us. And I mean, he's written, produced, stars in film. This guy, like I said, always working. Even with the world being on timeout, he is still making moves. I introduce to you Jay Lee. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? I appreciate you having me.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you for taking time. It's kind of crazy. About a year ago, I was there and you was obviously there because you was at panel, but we were all at San Diego Comic-Con, and obviously you were talking about Orville there, and now this year you're looking forward to your new film, and then the world decided to just take a poop, and then it's
right.
But it didn't stop you, and we're very excited to have you to talk about this film because it's an amazing film. I think it shows a lot of your personality, your talents. I would be lying if I said I'm a huge fan. I absolutely got to see more behind the behind the camera work and so on, because this is a really well put together project, and it hits on so many angles that we're going to definitely touch on some of the questions today. But it's an amazing project for sure. And then
go ahead.
I was going to say, then your model of like, bring me an opportunity, not a problem. Ever since I've heard you say that, that's just been like, it's been speaking to me, and rewatching the movie and seeing how that translates into it. You're the man. I just had to give you a prop before we get started.
Well, listen, man, we shot that movie in 12 days. So, we didn't have a lot of time. So one thing with that whole bring me a opportunity, not a problem, the reason why I think that's a good mentality to have anyway. But literally, we didn't have time for nothing but making a great project. So if there was ever some negativity or frustrations, we literally didn't have time for it. So I was trying to make sure we nipped that in the bud off the jump, because we was trying to get this movie made,
Right. And then, so, that goes into my first question is that, I would assume you had plans of getting the film done, hitting the film festivals, then having a theatrical release, and then everything just got scrambled. But good news is the film is out on all digital platforms, and I'm seeing on your social media that it's also hitting some theaters as well. So kind of like talk us through that. Like, how did you navigate into this world of unknown, dropping your first feature-length project into a world of confusion, shall I say?
Well, first of all, I meant to say this too. I stumbled on your review of the movie before I knew this was the podcast.
Oh,
which is kind of cool, because like awesome. I looked at some of the reviews and I said, no, I just appreciated it. I appreciated anybody watching it and anybody digging it. I appreciate people who didn't dig it. I thank you for buying it. But I'm putting that together. I was like, oh yeah, I literally just saw you, because I was watching it just the other day. So that was pretty interesting. As far as the movie goes, though, I was shooting Orville. And one thing I've always tried to do is stay busy, and make art. My whole thing is I like investing in myself and investing in making projects, So after the first season of Orville, I made a 27-minute film. And then after season 2, I was looking at the calendar and I realized, I had a brief window between season 2 and season 3. And I know how long post-production takes for the show, because it's such a huge, it's a big show, and it's a lot of special effects, and it takes a while in post-production. So I know how I'm built. I was like, if we go into this season 2 hiatus and I don't do nothing, I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah.
So, before we finished season 2, I looked at the calendar and I said, okay, I got a very small window here where I can make a project. And, started making some phone calls. And the next thing I know, the movie was moving. So the hardest part of all of it was just deciding to make it, and I've said this a couple times, but, one of the hardest things to do is make a decision sometimes, and when I said I'm making this movie, then all of a sudden I was making a movie, and I went from saying, hey, I'm trying to get this movie made, or I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to do that. I went, I'm in pre-production. I'm shooting in November. Like I set a date and I was moving in that direction. So once we got moving and once I got my producers on board, made some calls for the cast, it all kind of came together. And then it wasn't like, it's hard to even say if it was easy or hard. It wasn't hard because I was having a great time doing it. And I feel like everybody on my set had a good time. Finished the film, got into post-production, and then we got a distribution deal. And then, it was supposed to be a theatrical release, and then we were going to go from there, and a digital release. But of course, like you said, the world lost its mind or discovered its mind. I don't know which one. It's either in the light. I don't know. It's fascinating right now. For a few reasons. But it just so happened that during that time, of course, the theatrical option went out the window. But since everybody's at home, all of a sudden the digital release for all these platforms actually worked out kind of to the better for the project, because people are at home trying to find things to watch. Yeah. So it worked out.
Yeah, I agree.
So after season 1 of Orville, you made a 27-minute movie, and then after season 2, you made a hour-and-a-half movie. So does that mean after season 3, which just got renewed, you're going to make like a trilogy or something, some sort of?
Yeah. I'm on my Christopher Nolan tip. I'm gonna just make like a 3.5-hour movie with just a dope soundtrack and like a lot of slow motion.
Yeah. Deeper dive into your mind. That'd be fun.
Yeah. It'll be 8 layers into my mind, and it's gonna be nothing but me just looking at the wall.
I really do appreciate you saying that your whole cast and everybody had fun doing the film. It's so evident that you guys did.
Yeah, listen, I tell people this, man. If you're not having fun, what's the point? Whatever you're doing, I don't care if you're in this industry, that industry, enjoy what you do. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, then stop, ask yourself, what aren't you enjoying? And then say, okay, well, what would I rather be doing? And as long as it's productive, you're not out here, doing nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
I say too crazy because that's relative, but people should enjoy it. So like I said, man, when I said that, don't bring me no problems. You guys know it's easier to complain. Like that energy spreads way faster, gossip and complaining and negativity. All of a sudden people want to jump on that train. And my thing is like, no, let's talk about the good stuff. We're making a movie. Yeah. And I actually think I said this one day we were shooting. I was kind of making a joke. Everything was going, I don't want to say wrong that day, but it was providing a lot of opportunities this particular day, right? Yeah. And because you got to think, I was shooting with the kid, Cooper Friedman, who was amazing, by the way. Yeah. But, you can only shoot for a certain amount of hours with the child on set.
Okay.
We shot at the, late fall. So the year, like the day was shorter, and a lot of the movie takes place over one day. So at 4:30, the sun is like, y'all done shooting. I don't care what you're trying to shoot. So there was a particular day, it just, things were a little tricky. And I just remember telling everybody, I said, there's no point of being upset right now because we're going to make a sucky movie and then we'll watch it and I'll hate it then. So why be mad twice? Like, you might as well be happy now. Luckily the movie came out well, but my joke was like, no point of being mad twice. We have no idea how this is going to turn out. Might as well laugh now and then watch it and complain. So let's just have a good time.
That is a good mentality, and I do like your focus on making sure you're doing what you like. I mean, right now it seems like people might have some additional time to look and see what they're doing and if that's the right path. And it might be a good time for people to reflect. Maybe your movie will inspire them.
It could. Listen, I'm not saying it's easy, especially now. I know a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are hurting financially, mentally. Like I said, the world on top of this, COVID, you got the civil, like I said, awakening, to a lot of issues that a lot of people have been screaming and talking about. I know I have for a very long time. I'm from St. Louis. So, I've been talking about these issues and I still am. And now that, it's more of a collective voice about it, like you said, it's a lot of sitting down, reflecting, and not just on like what you want to do, but who are you?
Yeah.
Like who are you as a person and what are you providing? Yeah, we're talking about movies and entertainment and art, which I really, really appreciate. And in addition to that, it's, what are you doing? Literally, like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? I saw this one quote when this whole shutdown kind of happened. It said, "Never again should we ever turn our noses up or down at artists as you look for your 90th movie to watch and you try to find your 100th album to listen to, or you read your 50th book, you know, this idea that artists are sort of this thing over here." But then when everything shuts down, what do we turn to? Like, I'm looking at the Avengers. I watched the Marvel movies in order twice, and I might do it 3 times. I don't know yet. Like, I don't know. I did it in chronological order. I might go in the order of them being released. I don't know yet. You know, but we play a part, a very important part.
Indeed.
You know.
And so the comment earlier about like kind of looking at what's going on in the world, one of the things that Nazir and I both really loved about your social media presence is, you know, you're out here promoting the movie, trying to get it out on digital and in theaters, but you're still talking about societal issues with Hollywood. Like, you're still out there speaking up, which is, you know, so valuable and also just kind of, you know, amazing when you've got someone else going on. So, you know,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, and it shouldn't be hard to speak about what's right or wrong, flat out. Like, that's common sense, you know? And I don't know how we lost so much common sense or when, but it's a lot of idiots running around doing the wrong things and talking about the wrong things. You know, there's a line or a saying that I didn't understand when I was younger, right? And now I get it. And it reflects directly to my art. It directs straight to social issues or whatever, you know? And remember when your parents or your uncle or aunt would say something like, or your friend even, you know, "What are you talking about?" Or "Mind your business." Those 2 phrases, right? Take on completely different meanings for me now, right? What are you talking about? Used to always feel like it came with the concept that you don't know what you're talking about, right? "Man, what are you talking about?" It was always said that way. "Man, what are you talking about?" And if you think about it, it's not that. It's actually, no, what are you talking about? Like, what are you actually talking about? Are you sitting around, what are you talking about? Here are the things I'm talking about. Social injustice, making some movies. I say, if I can make art that makes people think, laugh, cry, do better, I've done my job. That's what I'm talking about. And it all falls under that, you know? And the other one is mind your business. You know, your mom used to say something like, "Mind your business," or "Stay out of grown folks' business." You know, now that I'm older, and shout out to my very good friend, Ahmed Best, we talk about this, the idea of mind your business. Literally mind your business. What is your business? And are you minding it? Are you taking care of your business? Are you putting energy into your business, right? A lot of people are minding business that's not theirs. It's not that they're nosy, right? We used to always think mind your business felt like you were nosy, but really it's a reminder of something really special, of like, no, mind, take care of your business. And if you don't know what your business is, then you probably should start there. So anyway, that's a little knowledge for everybody if you want it.
Dropping knowledge.
Look, I know we're supposed to be talking about the movie. At this point now, we need to be talking about, when is this book dropping?
You know, hey, listen, you know the name of my book is called? I Don't Know Nothing. That's the name of my book, by Jay Lee. I'm about to start. I've actually... It's on the queue list. I've been toying with the idea, so I appreciate that reminder.
Anybody that's a fan of you, there's no doubt in their mind that this is happening.
Okay, bet that. I'm gonna get on it.
My bad. Go ahead, David.
All right, so I guess bringing it back to the movie, although, you know, I'm sure we'll veer off into other topics because it's just really fun to talk to you. You know, you wrote, directed, and starred in this film. It feels like a very personal film. So something that Jaron and I thought might be fun was to see how close are you and Gabe, you know, you, the writer, star, and Gabe, the character. So we pulled out some, you know, interesting tidbits from the movie, and we figured we'll just do a rapid fire question just to kind of see, you know, where you end and Gabe begins. We'll also probably start veering into spoilers. So people that haven't seen the movie, we're going to get into spoilers. You should see the movie. It's a fantastic film. It's really funny. It's got a very frank, honest comedy to it that both of us really love. So you should see the movie first and then come listen to this, or, you know, maybe watch it and see if it inspires you to go pick it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, did you want to start?
All right. So, first question is: do you play baseball?
I used to play baseball. Yeah. My dad said I was pretty good, but my team sucked. So the baseball career was real short. But I play softball still.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you love Twix ice cream bars?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You gotta take them out the freezer. Don't immediately open it. Give it about like a minute and a half. Let it soften up a little bit. Man, hell yeah.
Oh man, for the excitement of that question, this answer may be even crazier. Do you like tacos?
Hell yeah! I just had tacos. No joke. I got the wrappers in the other room. I just smashed.
I gotta ask a follow up. Hard shell or soft? Because it was hard in the movie, but
oh, hard shell. Yeah. I need that crunch. Yeah, I need to feel like I'm doing something in my life. I need results. You know what I mean? That crunch means I got teeth.
Do you have or have you ever had a personal training business?
No, I've never. No, I just like working out, and never had a personal training business. Nope.
Do you always forget your wallet?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I usually put it. Yeah, I'll probably say, "Where's my wallet?" A couple times a week. Yeah. Funny, actually, here's something real funny about this. In the movie, spoiler alert, kinda, not really. The scene where Gabe forgets his wallet, ends up with Alec. They go back to the house. Somehow so we walk into the house. I see my wallet on the table. Somehow the audio got completely messed up. So I had the ADR. Oh, there it is. Right? So we walk in the house and say, oh, there it is. I grabbed my wallet. Because actually it's a very, very big part of the film in a weird way. Because it's the reason I go home. It's the reason I run into Bailey. So, kind of need that. Anyway, today, before I went and got my tacos, I was looking for my wallet. And I promise you, I'm not making this up. My wallet was on my nightstand. I swear to you, when I saw my wallet, I said, oh, there it is. And in my head, I said, oh, yeah, this sounds just like the ADR from when I forgot my wallet in the movie. And I promise you I had that thought not 2 hours ago. That's a very true story.
There you go. Awesome. You and Gabe are basically the same.
Yeah. So in a lot of ways. Some ways, no, but a lot of ways, yeah.
Have you ever described someone as 2 whiskey shots and a mistake?
No. You gotta think. I wrote this younger version of me. This is back in my day. I wrote this first draft. I've matured a little bit. I've never said that. I thought it. I've never said that though. No.
Have you ever been a big brother?
Yeah. I'm in a fraternity. Shout out Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Yeah, part of our brotherhood. We back at school we had Big Brother Big Sister program. We were all mentors. Whole idea is first of all servants of all. We want to be of service, right? So I have been a big brother, try to be a mentor to people in or out of the industry. Because I feel like people help me out along the way. I just want to keep doing that. So yes, I have.
My man.
Have
you ever smacked a store clerk? Gotta think about that one.
Yeah. Open hand or backhand?
I think it's open hand in the movie.
Yeah. Now I can promise you, I've never open hand, left-handed smacked someone in a card store.
That is a very specific answer, and we'll allow it.
Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies.
Now, this I think is an important question.
Yeah.
Do you clean your kicks simply with toothpaste and water?
I used to. Big time. St. Louis, listen, let me tell you something. Summertime, St. Louis, Missouri, Six Flags, the white Reebok Classics. If you had some dirty classics, you was getting clowned. So you get you an old toothbrush, some toothpaste, some water, a little bit of bleach, not too much because you don't want to ruin them. But summer clean. Shout out to the Reebok Classics, man. Man, I used to get all kind of numbers when I was like 13 in them classes. Running around Six Flags. Yeah. Toothbrush, toothpaste, you in the game.
So what do you clean your kicks with now? Is it still the same formula, or?
I don't even care anymore, man. Now I'm like, I don't even know.
Just cop a new pair, huh?
Man, throw them in the gutter, go buy another, man. I got other things to worry about, man. If you get enough pair, you can just wear them when you need them.
That's right.
But hey, listen, actually, a little bit of soap, a little water, that's all you need. You don't need too much.
Yeah, no one's kicks are getting dirty right now, though. Everyone's staying indoors, so.
Exactly. You're good. The shoe collection is intact.
So were you bullied?
Maybe. I think every kid is bullied in some way. I luckily wasn't like bullied, like thrown in the locker and none of that. I had an older sister who used to beat me up all the time, so fighting back was something that was sort of in alignment. I had a father who taught me something at a young age. Taught me. He said, I can't go into it. It's not PG, but he taught me some stuff as far as like when to stand up for yourself and when not to.
You can hear it and don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, it's a very funny story. I've said it before. But my dad lived in the city. My mom, we lived in the county. And actually this has to do with this next project I just started. But my dad used to always ask me, there was a lot of racism going on in the world, and there still is. Spoiler alert, do better. But he used to always ask me, hey man, anybody call you the N-word this week? And I was like, yeah, the answer varied because people are you're stupid. So he said, well, you know what to do. He said, if anybody calls you N-word, put your hands up. He said, your mama's an N-word. So yeah, so I used to do that. And not too much to talk about after them hands come up. So but yeah, no, I'm not, luckily I was never dumped in a dumpster or bullied like that. Yeah. But I did see people getting bullied. And probably I'm pretty sure somebody might see this and be like, Jay Lee, you bullied me, joking, So I feel like kids are kids and do a lot of dumb stuff. So, but thankfully I can't remember of being truly bullied. I do remember there was a moment going between, I think, 5th and 6th grade where I was like, I need to tighten up because middle school is about to be something else. Yeah. So I had to put on, I was like, let me tighten up real quick because I don't want to get in these hallways and get clowned and go home, depressed. So I had to figure it out.
I guess it's safe to say that for the next question, you have then gotten revenge on a bully, whether it's for you or for someone else.
Oh, listen, I always root for the underdog. I'm telling you right now, this movie I'm writing, I started a movie yesterday. This is going to be revenge on something that happened literally 25 years ago. And it hit me, and I'm about to write this new movie, and this is going to be my revenge, and it's going to be very funny. And everybody in it is going to know who they are. I'm going to change a syllable here and there. But, I've gotten revenge. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have a question to come after that. Go ahead, David.
You can pop in your question. I'll wait.
So no, it's because we got 2 more of these. So I'll come back to it. But so have you ever worked out Seth Green? Have you ever worked him out?
No. That was just fun.
Have you ever worked out with Seth Green?
No, we never worked out. Seth's a good buddy of mine, though. I met Seth when I was working at the front desk of Family Guy years ago, and him and I became pals. And then when I told him about this project, he jumped on board, had some dope ideas, because initially his character was just kind of like a typical, no one likes him, but he's rich.
Yeah.
And he had a really good idea of making him actually a very nice guy and likable, except I can't get over the fact he used to be with my girl, which is even funnier, So he brought some really good stuff to the movie.
And then our last question for the rapid fire is, now I'm just going to say, you can blink twice if you need help.
Sure.
Have you ever given a kid whiskey?
No. Never. I would never. I would never. Now, my uncles They probably that's a different generation.
We all got them uncles.
Yeah, they were that generation of, hey, listen, go ahead and try it if you want to. But no.
So to my question to what you just said, so as far as Atypical Wednesday, but I guess it's kind of going to bridge into both these projects. Then these characters absolutely feel authentic, like straight out. You can tell the reference from somebody, a lot of you, or from friends of yours. So my question is, like, has any of your friends or past acquaintances, shall I say, seen this movie and kind of like hit you up like, oh, isn't that me? Isn't it? More like how Harper and
Best Man.
Yeah, for Best Man. Yeah, it's like a scenario like that.
So, true story, I was going to therapy every Wednesday. That's what inspired the story. I was going to therapy every Wednesday. And I was, uncovering a lot of stuff about me just as a young man and as a young black man. And like just all this stuff was coming up. Ended up seeing this young white kid on the elevator every Wednesday. We never spoke, but one day I complimented his shoes, or I saw he had on some shoes, and I was like, oh, dope shoes. And he kind of looked up and smiled at me, So I get into my therapist's office and, she says, wow, you're in a good mood today. Because normally I wasn't. All the stuff was coming up. And I said, yeah, I just seen my little homie on the elevator. And then she said, what? I said, yeah, every Wednesday, this little white kid is my best friend, right? So that's kind of what started the movie. But in it was one of the moments, I think I wrote the first draft in like less than a week. And it was a sort of mix of a lot of my relationships and situations all packed into one. So I think when I had my first table read, there were some friends there, and that was the first time I was like, oh, I'm being real honest here. I'm like being super honest, because you wear different hats. Like the screenwriter's one thing, the director's another hat, producer's another hat, the actor's another hat, right? So when I wrote it, I'm just writing. And then when you put it out, there are some people going, was that me? And there were some people who knew exactly. Almost everything in the movie was based on something very real. Even the Patty Nelson character.
Okay.
Yeah, even that. There was a situation where that was, somewhat real, except I wasn't training them. But there was we could have been working together, but that's a whole nother story.
Stories on stories.
Yeah.
And you're talking about going to see the therapist. Now, Michael Ealy is an actor who has a really, he's played some of the most abstract and craziest characters and roles I've seen in all of Hollywood. How did you come about casting him and being the moral compass in this movie?
So initially in the script, the therapist was an older woman, right? But then it was my editor, Jim, who had a very good idea. He said, it kind of felt like an old version of this movie, where the therapist is this older, sort of wise, sage-esque person. And we've kind of seen that. Antoine Fisher, Good Will Hunting. It always feels like this person is like this older, put together, whatever. And my editor was saying, his therapist is like a young, hip, good-looking dude. And he's like, I feel like, that's kind of more current. And I thought about it. I said, yeah, that's actually pretty dope. And I thought it could be dope to have a black male therapist for a black man going to see him. Ealy is somebody who I knew through mutual friends. I've known him for a minute. And my producer also knew him. So when his name came up, it was a no-brainer. I was like, hey, hell yeah, let's see if we can get him. He read the script, hit me up. We had a long talk about it. And what I love about him in it is he took it so seriously. And one thing he said, which I thought was very astute, was as people, right, when you talk to people, we're conditioned to, yeah, oh, that's crazy, right? You're conditioned to interject and react. And he said, playing a therapist is you're listening. You're always listening, right? And we say as actors, your job is to listen and respond, right? But that's so hard to do. So he was saying how playing a therapist was challenging in the sense of really sitting there listening to somebody and not making a face or not wanting to put your own personal thing on it, but really just taking in, what this person is saying. And I didn't even think about that when I wrote it. Again, you just write it, right? But then what he brought to it was something so dope and so real and had depth to it that it really worked.
Yeah, because usually you would think like an actor would want to steal the scene by like showing emotion or going crazy, but he kind of steals it by just being stone-faced and just like serious, but knowledgeable.
Yeah, and then that's why the end I think works perfectly because the way he played that up top. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So it sounds like this was always kind of based on therapy. And one of the things that Najir and I both loved is a movie about a black man going to therapy and using it to improve himself, because I feel like that it's starting to become more common in society and more accepted, but it still feels like maybe an area that a lot of people don't experience and don't even try. So it sounds like it's always been about that. Quite
frankly, black people are scared to go see therapists. That's just it.
Yeah.
And you do it in a humanistic way that it says it's okay. People need help. When someone got it all right, we still need help. And that's what I instantly took from it. It was like, hey, it's cool and it's okay to do this. But before
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, because before it's like and you've even said in other interviews, when somebody say they're going to a therapist, the first thing that comes to your mind is, well, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You don't have to nothing be wrong with you to go. Sometimes you just need those conversational spaces and everybody can use a little bit of improvement, i.e. 2020.
Exactly. And listen, I mean, how many times have you heard the phrase, that's a strong black man? That's a strong black woman. Hate that phrase. I hate it because what you're really saying is like, look at the weight of the world on your shoulders and look at you still thriving.
Yeah.
Look at you still somehow surviving and the world has made it so difficult for you. Could you just hug me when I was 10, maybe? Mm-hmm. Instead of telling you to show my muscle, maybe not that. Why do I have to, So it's, I understand why people say it, but I think the older I get and the more I realize I don't know, right? That's my way of saying the more I learn, but the more I realize I don't know, the more you realize a lot of these things are like, hold on. Maybe if we took some of the weight off of the bar for this beautiful black woman, she wouldn't have to be that damn strong. You know what I mean? So I think even with therapy, I was scared to go. It took me a good 2 months or so. I think, I looked up people, I didn't go, and then finally I said it and I was so nervous to go. And I finally went. And this is something I haven't said in other interviews, but this was in the movie. I remember after a couple times, I was probably going for a couple months, right? Maybe 3 months at this time. And I remember I had gotten the hang of therapy, right? Because at the end of the day, we all want to be liked, right? Even you want your therapist to like you. You want your teacher to like you. You want to be accepted. So there was a point where I was like, okay, I could go in, I could make a joke or two, and she would laugh. And I'm charismatic, so I could go in there and I could kind of touch on some real stuff, but then bounce around. And I was doing that for a while. And I remember in my brain, I said, oh, I'm good now. I think I got it. Now I went a couple more weeks, and I remember she was looking at me. She's like, and I remember saying, I'm in here bullshitting, huh? And she's like, yeah. She's like, but it's this is your time. If you want to pay me to come in here and lie about stuff and skirt around, that's fine. Or we could talk, this is your time. And I remember feeling so small and so naive to waste my money, my time to have an opportunity to really grow as a person. But it was the fear of it, So the scene in the movie where he kind of tells me, I'll gladly keep taking your money, but you ain't here BSing. That was based on a real time in therapy. I was sitting there like, and she's like, okay, if you want to do this, you can do this as long as you like. But it's you, that you're the one that's not going to benefit. So that was a moment where I started taking it even more serious.
Yeah, I love that line when he's like, look, I love eating at, I forget the restaurant,
Mastros. Oh, so good.
I love the Mastros.
Love Mastros. So good, so delicious, so expensive. Yeah, I'm glad to keep taking your money. It's up to you,
Yeah, going back to your point, Najir, I think one thing I liked is, and the therapist says this in the movie, so it's not a secret. Gabe kind of has everything you would be thinking, you know, if you were a society like looking at someone, he has everything to be successful. He's like in shape, he's got a business, he's, you know, kind of living his best life, and he still has all these issues that just are under the skin. And so it's kind of a good lesson for people that, you know, especially in our social media culture where everyone kind of tries to put their best face forward.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen, I'm good for post. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do one today. I'm gonna post a picture of like the corner in my house, like right there, because that's real life. It's a dusty corner right there. I gotta get. Like I see a cobweb up there. So as much as I'm happy my movie came out, like I need to clean my room. I'm not wearing pants right now. You know what I mean? Like it's not. No, I am. But it's not all sweet. It's not all filters. No, I'm wearing pants. No, but what people put out, yeah, it's not real life.
Yeah.
You know, I like showing the mistakes. You learn from the mistakes. And here's one thing I will say, and this is some do better for everybody in society. And I've read this in a few different places, and it's what I believe. So I'm not quoting anybody, but there's no point of us being in a world where we tell people to do better, and then when they try, we don't accept it. Like there's no point of making people really face the demons and facing society even. And let's say there are a lot of past transgressions, but then when you try to make it right, we just throw them away anyway. So I think we got to be real mindful of that as we try to get, you know, even through therapy. Like if I go to a therapist and the therapist's job is to get me to be really honest and I do it, and then I'm judged for being honest or I'm judged for trying to grow, you know, I think we got to be mindful. Mind you, don't be dumb because as in the movie, you'll get smacked. But find the line, figure it out. But let's make sure we want people to get better. We want people to be able to, you know, sort of grow. I don't know why I went down that tangent, but it just felt important.
Hey, it's important knowledge to drop on us.
Yeah.
I like your "Don't be dumb" line. I was the risk management chair in my fraternity, and basically every announcement was "Don't be dumb," and it'd have a picture of something that happened that week. So
look, it's that. Don't be dumb. It's kind of that simple. You know, there's you know, measure twice, cut once. Be careful, be mindful, especially now that everything is out. Everything is recorded. It's like people been going on live nonstop, you know, during these times. Don't be dumb. Let me get my charger while we keep rapping because I was ill prepared.
You could have just dropped us past that piano real quick.
You know,
that's a beauty.
I love mine. That's one thing. The two things I really kind of treated myself to. One is that piano. Two is the movie I just made.
You referenced Do Better a couple of times, and I'm trying to make sure I got the connection here. Do Better University is your clothing line? Is it something you endorse, or is this the title to this new project?
First of all, Do Better University is a mindset.
Okay.
Do Better University.
Okay.
Y'all asked me to do better. Okay. Here's Do Better University. Real talk. I've always said it. Do better. When I would talk to people about various things, mainly social injustice and racism back in the day, one thing I learned was no one thinks they're wrong, right? So a lot of times you're talking to people, this person sees the world this way, you see it this way, you're going to always bump heads, right? Now, mind you, most of the time people are wrong. But if you don't, it's not a lie if you believe it, right? So my thing was to get people not to think like me or not to do like me, but you personally do better. If you eat 12 Twinkies a day, and I don't eat any Twinkies, right? If I try to say, hey, don't eat Twinkies, well, that's going to be a big jump. If you go from 12 to 8 a day, that's doing better. So you do your personal best, right? Now, that's not going to be great for everybody, but as long as you can do better. So Do Better University kind of started off as a little bit of a joke, but during these times, you know, I was talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people were asking me a lot of things on, you know, how to navigate this world. And I said, well, look, here's my opinion. You know, here's how you could do better, right? And then somewhere during that time, my buddy JK said, man, do better, take us to class, Do Better University. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a school. And tuition is $1. We still have some financial aid available for those wanting to enroll at Do Better University. Still accepting a couple. We have a couple slots left, so hit me up on my social if you want to come. And I got some movies, I got some books, I got some ideas of how I kind of move. One thing I posted a while back talking about being a big brother, just being a service. I posted, how can I be of better service? What can I do? And one thing my buddy Amir said was, Jay, you do a lot of different things. Maybe you could share with people why your mindset behind it. And I said, oh, okay. So that's kind of how it all came about. But no, it's a real thing. Do Better University. The website will launch pretty soon. But that's
my next question.
I think next week I got to put up. But I wanted to, I don't know. We're figuring it out as we go.
I seen a couple people sporting there, and I'm like, I'm digging. I'm like, it must be on the way. It must be an exclusive club right now.
Yeah, it ain't out yet. I got this is the exclusive color right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, I got some stuff cooking.
Okay.
Always working.
Always working.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sure.
Now, I was just going to say, kind of going back into the movie again, because he got so many good stories. So this is one I'm definitely interested in too, and I'm surprised you haven't brought up. Now, I mentioned about how all the characters felt authentic, and I'm guessing with this project, being something that you've been working on for a long time, you knew the particular people you wanted for each and every role. However, Amy Raver-Lampman is a person you didn't know, but ends up being your co-star in this film. How does that kind of work? And God, was y'all organic as hell, as if y'all knew each other this entire time. So I kind of, and I've heard the story of her sending it, her people contacting your people and so on, but like, and I really, really do, even though I'm not in Hollywood, I really do love the professionalism of you saying, hey, let's meet and let's bounce off this with each other. I think that's the best way to kind of mesh. And I think it's a really professional way, but yes, take us into the brain of saying like, okay, this is my person.
Yeah, well, so when I first met Emmy, first of all, I knew some people who did Hamilton with her. So Leslie Odom, I'm good friends with. So when he, did it, I made a couple calls when I heard her name. And then we met up for brunch, lunch, talk. It was great. And then she went to New York for a project. I was here. I had to go to New York. I think we might have gone out for upfronts. It was upfronts for the Orville. So this had to be in May. Okay. No. Good grief. Yeah, I guess so. No, I don't know. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, went to New York. And I hit her up. I said, hey, I'm out here, I'm, meeting up with some folks or whatever. So we met up. Again, just talk so we could just get to know each other and just formed a friendship. So by the time we got to set, it was all good. And again, I think I try to keep a set that is fun. If you're going to be somewhere for that many hours working with people, it'll be nice to like them. You hear about these stories, and it's inevitable sometimes where people don't like each other. But if you can, you try to find the things you like about people. But Emmy came on and killed it, man. Killed it. So talented, very attractive, as you can see. Made me look like I probably made a mistake casting somebody that beautiful. Made me look horrible. What a dumb idea, Jay Lee. It was my project. Tripping. Nah, Emmy was amazing.
That is awesome. Yeah, an amazing pickup there. I love the energy between the two you guys. From thicker and thin, shall I say, the good and the bad. Like it just all worked.
She said, I'm riding for my man. She said, he's a mess, but he's my mess. I'm going. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And so I guess staying on the cast, one of the things I'm sure everyone loves in this movie is Cooper and Alec, Cooper's performance. How did you go about him? And also, what was how was it working with a kid and having him have to do some, more adult things in the film?
Cooper was more prepped than anybody in the movie.
Whew.
When we had the table read, I remember I sat next to him. We hadn't even started yet. And mind you, I was still kind of nervous because, it's one thing to say you want to do something. And then when you start to see it come together, you're like, oh man, this really happening. And then all of a sudden you look across the room and there's Emmy and there's Seth and there's, there are people here now, right?
And it's like idea, right? Like it's the first time it's going to kind of see life.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it for the first time. It's, oh, I wrote these words, and some stuff that works, you're like, great. Some stuff doesn't. You know, you mark it up, you fix it. But I remember Cooper turns to me and he goes, "Hey," he said, "So the part when you call me out for not knowing, you know, the thing, I was gonna cry like this. But how would you like me to cry?" And I was like, "Huh?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll just pay $75. You know, when that's." I said, "Man, I'm not even there yet." Like he was already in performance mode. You know, how much you want me to give to this? Because I'm here. You know, like you let me know if you need me. So Cooper every day on set. There's something about, and it made me miss being a kid. When you're a kid, the weight of the world isn't on you yet. It's fun. It's exciting. It's easy. You know, like he was able to access all the emotions, all the range so sort of flawlessly because there's no thing there yet. So he's just having fun. He's having a blast. And I think that helped the energy of the cast too. But Cooper was hysterical, man. I'm telling you, I don't know what I would have done had he not been in this movie. It would have been a way different project. It would have been a way different project. You know, I have a sequel idea that I kind of started too that picks up a little bit later. I'll share that with y'all at the end of this as a little hint.
And who did he come up, or did you come up with the whole counting when he's angry? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, I did. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. And then there's that scene where he says, you know, Gabe goes up to him. He says, "F a timeout." You know, I don't want to hear it. You're going to get up here. You're going to, you know, hit this ball. And he's like, and I think there's something special to that because I think I've noticed a lot of times we talk at kids. You know, we don't talk to kids. And I'm not saying you need to physically snatch up a kid and yell at them like that. But I do see sometimes, you know, sometimes you just need to be talked to. Like you said, don't be dumb. Hey, that's pretty dumb. Maybe don't do that.
Another line from the movie I add when he said that too. Say, you know, sometimes you just gotta talk to the kid. That's why he never talked to his parents because they always taught that him. It's an important lesson.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll tell you, I got that from my nephew. My nephew's so smart. He's so smart. I remember one time back in the day, he was younger. He got in trouble about something, and my family's a bunch of talkers, so we're all talking and everybody's mad and everybody's trying to give advice and all this stuff. And he was just sitting back like this. And eventually we stopped talking to him and then everybody else started fighting about something else. And he just was like slowly just slipped out of the room. Like, okay, I'm good here. Yeah. And I just think there's some important, like and especially artists, right? I feel like we just want to talk and like talk. And then people are like, okay, do you need me for this conversation or you got it? So don't talk at people.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I would wait for that exact moment when you can just kind of like slink away and go like play video games or watch TV. And
yeah, you know it's coming. It's like, okay, she's about to say this. Yep. Okay, she's gonna say that. About 20 more seconds, she's gonna lose the focus. Yeah. And now's my window. I'm like, yeah. We just wait for that one moment.
So one other thing we noticed in the movie seems like it went through a name change from Wednesdays to Atypical Wednesdays. Nazir and I think we know why. We had an interview with another director earlier this year, but just curious, you know, what was the reason for the name change? And you know, we both love to play on words that the title became.
Yeah, you're spot on. I saw your the review the other day, and you're spot on about it. It was initially called Wednesdays, and then you know. Word came back of like, oh, you know, movies trend to track better XYZ, and I wasn't interested in that at all. Sometimes I can my artist pride, you know, screw it. If people don't want to scroll to W, they don't deserve my film.
Only the true fans will see it.
Yeah, only the people who really appreciate my art. It's like, don't be dumb, bro. Like, what are you doing? Don't be dumb. But so we were talking about different titles. And it just, if there was a movie title that didn't work, I wouldn't have changed it. But I don't even know how it came about, but like the idea of misspelling, or not misspelling, but the play on words of typical or atypical Wednesday, it kind of all played. So that's okay, I'll go with it. But it definitely wasn't going to be like, a Wednesday.
Thank you.
Wednesday.
Thank you. Wednesday. Yeah, thank you.
Better love this movie called Wednesday. Yeah, no. So atypical Wednesday kind of work.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite scene in the movie is the car scene when you just have so much going on. Like you got Alex staring back at Seth Green in this possibly super fan, possibly serial killer way. You've got your phone blowing up. You've got Millie, trying to get some more information. Like that was just such a well put together scene with so much going on. Like, how did that come about? And how was it like filming that?
So what's funny, man, is when I wrote the movie, I was actively trying to write something I could make. So I'm not writing explosions and car chases, and that just costs money. That let me write something that's feasible. Yeah. So the car. Oh, how can I get a lot of characters in one setting but keep it still moving, so it's not just stagnant? And so a lot of it came to be in the car. But I love the smash cut of Alec losing his mind, and then he's like, "Can I ride the rest of the way looking at Mr. Nelson?" And then it just cuts to him staring at him, And what's great about that scene, and I got to give Seth Green a lot of props, and Millie too, or Emmy, is it will be very easy to not lock into what your character is doing, right? And what I mean by that is the scene is Gabe's going through this stuff, right? His phone's blowing up. He's got this kid. His girl/ex is mad at him, and then you got Patty Nelson, who's Seth Green's sort of this rock star kind of character. But Seth does something really great where he's locked into this kid, and the kid's staring at him, and he's like, "Yeah, I know you guys got a lot going on, but this dude hasn't blinked." And it would be very easy just to say that line because it's a joke as a line. But when you look at that scene, Seth is like him and the kid are staring at each other. Meanwhile, Millie and Gabe, they're going, back and forth, and Seth is, I don't think this kid's blinked. That's an interesting thing to clock in that moment. So I think between Cooper, Emmy, and Seth, it helped me out so much for them to be that locked in because, again, we don't have a lot of time. It's not like I can just hop out and watch playback every 5 minutes and see everybody. So they had, I'm beyond thankful that they were locked in like that because by the time I got to the editing booth, it was all there, So all my actors out there, stay prepared. I'm telling you, it's not only is it your job, right? That's what the writer, director, producers need you to do. It's just a nice thing to do. Yeah. It's very helpful. I'm telling you. And it's the times where you feel like I'm not on camera or I'm going to just dial this one in. No, if you're prepared, it makes the project that much better.
Yeah.
And earlier you talked about kind of all the different hats you had to wear because to make this movie you kind of had to do it all. As the writer and the director and the star, how much did you change your original script like on the fly? Like were you improvising it, or were you kind of allowing the scenes to develop organically, or were you kind of sticking with the script because that's what you wrote and that's what worked in your head?
A little bit of both, but I will say though, I probably was the least prepared when it came to the acting than everybody else because I was doing everything. Luckily, I knew the material, right? And I knew the character, but you're setting up the shot, hair and makeup, last looks, proven wardrobe for this character, proven location for that. There's a lot of things to do. Oh, and by the way, action, right? So I wasn't necessarily word perfect. I tried to be as much as I could. But luckily, since I knew the essence of what I wanted to do, if I changed the word from that to this or whatever, it worked. But everyone else was locked in. And I will say being on Orville with Seth is extremely helpful, where you see a guy doing all of it. So what I tried to do almost all of season 2 was if I wasn't shooting, I was in Video Village looking at playback. And I was sitting there with the director and Seth, and Seth would go watch, or you'd film, come back. Again, I didn't have a lot of time to be watching a lot of playback. So it's important to have somebody on set to just focus on your performance, which is what I had. But yeah, it was challenging, fun though, but challenging for sure.
So I know we're going to be coming up close on our time now. I think we have to kind of pivot back to this project that you're working on, that you want to share more information or details or a little scoop about what you're working on, because you're always working.
Well, yeah, I got two features. One is a new one. I just started the other day. Would like to shoot this back in St. Louis, dealing with sort of what it was like coming up and going to the school I went to, and I'll circle back to that. But I actually started the sequel to this movie too. Spoiler alert! I had this idea where the first scene of the sequel is we're at a baseball game, and Gabe is walking through the stands holding nachos, face painted or whatever, and he sits down next to Millie, and gives her the nachos or whatever, and then you cut to the field, and Alec is at the plate. Now he's 3 years older, so he's like a teenager now. He's 13, and the first pitch goes by, it's a strike. Second pitch goes by, he just looks at it and it's another strike. Third pitch, he cracks it, but it goes just foul. Home run, but it's foul. The next pitch hits him. Alec throws the bat down, charges the mound, and you cut back to Gabe and Millie like, oh crap. So then I run down to the field. I'm chasing Alec. Alec's chasing the pitcher, and it's just a mess. And you cut to us in the car, and the sequel is you find out Alec now lives with Gabe and Millie, and they're married. Alec's parents have since split. She got remarried to a very successful person, Mike Mosley, who played the father. He sort of just lets himself go a little bit, wants to get back into his music. And so that's the premise of the sequel.
Awesome.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's going to be called Atypical Thursday.
Oh. I'm already envisioning the cut back to the stand scene where you guys are like, uh-oh, here we go. It's more like the scene when you were at the end credits of the elevator. You're just like, not this again.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I might go finish that today or write on it. I'm like halfway through that script.
And there we go. A little bit of motivation from us.
Appreciate it.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? David, did you want to jump in on anything else?
Yeah, there was one thing. So I know we kind of touched on it earlier, but the cop scene in the film is sadly very relevant today, and probably more relevant than when you wrote it. So I guess the coincidence of it coming out right now when social justice is a big issue finally in mainstream America, it kind of felt very poetic, but also kind of sad that you would write this scene that is so predictable. I didn't even. It's I guess it is pretty sad because I didn't even really. Well, let me say it this way. I guess you write what you know. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I think you did it in a funnier way to kind of fit with the theme of the movie, but it is kind of endemic of what.
Yeah. And I guess what I was going to say is like writing it. How do I put it? Being a different situation. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're going, what I'm thinking where you're going with this is that you wrote it, and it is what it is because we have been conditioned to it and kind of numb to it. That when you look at it, you realize like, yeah, this happens every day, all day. But now that it's so apparent, now we're seeing it with the social media, wherever way you go. Now it's becoming more of a like. It shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't be conditioned. So that's kind of how I looked at it. I was just like, yeah, this happened, and don't let it take away from the movie at all. But this is the idea of what we experience on a day-to-day basis. It's just that, and we go on.
It's just that, and it wasn't. I wasn't trying to make a message with it. It really was like, oh, this is what happens. But I do appreciate, because you're not the first person to say that. I appreciate that it resonated on a different level. I have the show Two Black Dudes, and I wrote this and I shot this episode. And basically, my character is me and Ahmed Best, who, of course, very famously played Jar Jar Binks, and he's an amazing artist across the board. and we play these two black dudes, and we're cousins. And I wrote this episode like 2 years ago, and the episode is there's a police shooting, and it cuts to us watching it, and then we're like, man, it's crazy, man. How are people, getting shot up? This is ridiculous. So we take a police training course, and then we go and we do all these real live situations, and we're horrible at it. We end up like killing everybody in these simulations, and you get back, and it's a funny episode, but then at the end of it, there's another shooting, and of course I kind of make it. I think the person says the line is Alexandra Jenkins was shot 1 billion times selling organic Girl Scout cookies outside of her local store. And I'm like, and at the end of the episode I'm out, and we just cut the TV off, and the credits is over silence. It's a funny episode, but it's an episode where you're like, damn. And again, I think bringing it back to Atypical Wednesday, when I wrote that scene, it really was, I don't know if it's sad or great. I don't know. The fact that it's just like, yeah, that's just life. Which is why I think we need therapy, because how much of that stuff have we just shoved down anyway, which actually is pretty traumatic. And that kind of has to do with my next project. It's going to be a very funny, dark comedy, but it's going to be about some tragedy that happened at a younger age that the character didn't deal with, and then he decides to deal with it.
Damn, right on. I feel that on a whole nother level. Yeah. It's important stuff to talk about, though. But I promise you, that means a lot to me. The fact that that's something that even people are picking up on, for real.
Yeah, I thought that there were a bunch of little jabs that they felt very natural and realistic throughout the movie. That it didn't like make it the point of the movie, but it was enough to kind of bring it to the surface. So
to that point, one of my favorite lines in the movie, somebody just sent me this yesterday. It's the scene where Gabe and Alec are walking to Millie's house with the card, and it's a funny scene, but it's some real stuff. And I say, hey, do I have anything in my teeth? And Alec's like, I can't tell, your gums are black. And he says, do all black people have black gums? And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, why? I'm like, why what? Why don't I know if every black person in the world has black gums, or why are my gums black? He's like, the first one. I'm like, white people and black people are different, but the same. I don't know. And that's just a funny kind of line, but it's true. It's like, we're the same but different, but I don't know. And just don't be dumb.
I think one of my favorite lines is when you tell the store clerk, like, you should just say no more words. Just stop saying words.
Yeah. By the way, that was Nick Pine, man. Very funny dude. He's on the show AP Bio. Nick Pine, man. He came in and killed it for him.
Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, it's such an authentic film. It's a lot you can take away from it, but even if you're just mindless, it is absolutely hilarious. And I think it's a good movie to kind of jumpstart the summer. And summer is usually filled with blockbusters and everything, but right now we don't know where projects are coming from, but this one's out and I'm happy about it. And I absolutely think this is something everybody should check out. And, wherever you're at in America, where you may be able to see it in theaters, go check it out. It's obviously available on all video on demand. Jay Lee, you're the man. I cannot wait for your future projects to come out. You're killing it. Hopefully you're taking some time resting, still seeing your therapist, and because with this constant demand of just working, man, it's important for you to make sure you take care of yourself as well. As fans, I'm happy to get stuff, but
I appreciate that.
If you ain't in good shape, you know what I mean?
I appreciate that, and I will take that to heart. I'll make sure I take some time for myself. I would have normally taken a trip now, but the world is crazy, so
don't do it.
I'm gonna just walk around my block.
Take a trip in your mind and write that scene. I'm gonna say the opposite. Is keep working. I love this movie, and I want to see what comes next. So,
all right. Well, seriously, thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate it. And you guys keep doing great work, and you guys have great energy. Keep putting it out, and to all the artists that you guys are showing love to, it means a lot to them. If I could speak for them, it's hard to make anything, and nevertheless hard to make something somebody digs. So. Thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you.
And
again, everybody listening to this, you can watch Atypical Wednesday, available on all digital platforms. It may be in your theaters if your state is open for business. So check it out there. And Jay Lee, you know, he's going to continue to work his Instagram and everything. All his information will be in the description below. But thank you for listening to this interview, people, and we'll catch you next time.
Later. Do better. Boom.
Thank you.